Hello to everyone who's joining me right now. It's so weird to go live, by the way. Hi, Joey. I have to learn how to use this because I don't understand some of the features on my screen. I'm gonna wait a little more before I talk about my video for tomorrow. I don't know what to say, I'm just like waiting. And by the way, if you hear, like my dogs are sleeping, so yeah, I'm trying this live thing at this time. So this is my second live. She's a poodle and she's a Yorkie. And Rusted, she is 14 years old. And she is a year and a half. Joey, you're sitting in the exact same position. That is funny. I mean, this is where I sleep, like on this side. So when I am like editing or doing something or reading, this is the position I'm always in. Thank you. Thank you, Zola. To be honest, I love tattoos. Tattoos is a form of me being able to express myself. So I love tattoos. They signify something, a moment in my life. Hi, Tia. So tomorrow's video, I finished editing. I finished editing the video about, I would say like 20 minutes ago. It is already scheduled, but I went a little overboard. It's like 30 minutes. Yeah, Rusted. I I have to have dogs. Randall, Randall says you're so pretty. You're hypnotizing me. I don't know what to say to that, but thanks for the compliment. Hi, Jay. So, like I was saying, my video for tomorrow is going to be a little longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be around 25 minutes, but it's actually like 30 minutes. So, I wanted to give that as an update in my live now, um, and just see how the live goes during this time because it's like 10:30 p.m. or 10:40 p.m. where I'm at. So, I wanted to see the difference between going live in the afternoon versus now this late. And if you guys want to know anything, you can ask me while I'm here. I don't know how long I'm going to be live for, but if you have any questions for me, you want to know me, you can ask. Do you have any dogs, Rusted? Also, if you hear talking, I have my TV very low. Oh, I love collies. They are so beautiful. I knew someone who had a collie that was like white It was black, but it had like white spots with like also brown, but it had these blue eyes. So beautiful. John Williams, you missed Dial Up Connection. Dial Up is, those were fun times. Dial Up was sure fun times. JL says, do you get less nervous when you make videos now? Yes and no. Um, the video I did the other day, I was a bit nervous about because my mind was very blank. So I still get anxious, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And like today, when I filmed the video for tomorrow, I was actually in my head about it. Like I overthought about it a lot because I was like, I don't know if I repeated myself. I don't know if I said what I needed to say right, but I still went with the flow and still did the video. But most of the time, I do feel a bit anxious and nervous, and then I tell myself, "Oh my god, I don't like the way this video turned out," and but I still post it. Hi, Robert. You caught me on a live. Hello, Steve. Hello, nurse. I'm not a nurse, but okay. Thank you, Kenneth. Um, oh no, it's not. It's just a regular T-shirt. It's just a regular T-shirt, and I wear like gray pants a lot, so you can be a mod. I might need you anyway because last time this got a little bit crazy. Um, let me see. There you go. Yes, I have right now with me, I have my poodle and my Yorkie, and I have another Yorkie, but she's with my mom. But this is my poodle, and that is my Yorkie. Is that a tree on your property in your pics? Actually, no. That is a park that I go to. I drive to the park and then I walk to the area that I film. But no, I don't have a tree in my property. Chromosome says, girl, look at you, the cutest. Thank you. You're welcome, Paisley. What is the question? Can you answer me and not ignore it? What's the question? Not really sure. Hi, Daniel. Thank you, Chromosome. Thank you. That was the weirdest pop up. Some pop up just came up on my screen and it was like weird. I gotta figure out how this live thing works, honestly, because I have no idea. There's a lot of features, I think, on my like little things that I don't know. I don't want to touch them. Well, thank you for popping in, Chromosome. This is like very slow, um, where I don't know what to say. Hello, Nimisha. Can you be my mod? It's funny, Zoe, because my niece's name is also Zoe. Bob are better off than before to feel better. I am mentally better. Like I'm navigating things better mentally than I was before I started on YouTube. Daniel says, Susie, have you had your hair played with before? No. No. Um, Jason says it takes bravery to look within and make difficult changes to your life. We are cheering on. We are cheering you on. Thank you. You have no idea. It is very, very difficult what I did. And there are times that I will randomly be like in my room and a thought would come to my head like, what happens if someone in your family sees this? And I go into a kind of a meltdown where I get scared. But then I'm like, but I'm just speaking my truth. So, Robert, so how are you doing? Can you brief progress the vibe since the first video? So, things for me have changed since my first video. In my first video, I was feeling very, there was a huge lack of confidence, and I was feeling very lost. And ever since I made my first video and expressing myself the way that I did, has allowed me to feel more liberated, like energetically. I feel more light and I'm able to navigate things more easy. And I have like this wall where, like, if something triggers me, I just have a wall. I don't even want to react. I just don't care because I'm like focused on, I am making myself a priority. So I'm not going to let these things affect me. What is going on here? Thank you, Bob Hope, for wishing me the best. Um, Hello to Osdian from Australia. Hi. But let me just say that it's very hard to put yourself out there completely open and not pretending. Thing is, I've always been very honest and very blunt, and I just never had the I never thought I had the courage to do it publicly. And that has completely changed my the way that I understand things and move through things. So it is hard to do something like this. Like even still now, I tell myself I cannot believe that I posted that video, like my first video. I cannot believe it. Thank you, Jeremy, for liking my tattoos. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, Rusted. Let me see. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I don't even know what's happening in here. Yeah, I noticed there. Last time I had a lot of trolls in my live too, and even though I don't pay attention to them, I just don't know how to work this where I can kick them out. Joey says, I saw the video 2 weeks late, but that's why I'm here. I couldn't believe the guts it took to do it. Yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. And even still now, I am like, I cannot believe that I mean, I was at a breaking point in my life, and I needed to just, I don't know, shout it out to what I thought was a void. And in that void, I never thought that I would resonate, like my story would resonate with so many people. And it changed me. It changed me. And I, like I said, I still sometimes get thoughts in my head where I'm like, what happens if someone in my family sees the video, and not just that video, but like all my videos? What are they going to think? But at the end of the day, it's my story, it's my experience, and I'm just sharing it because I deserve better than the reality I made myself believe that I was meant for me. Thank you, Jeremy. You have a blessed day too. Hi, Jiminy from New York. No, Joey, my sister doesn't know either. Nobody, absolutely nobody knows nothing. Just my one friend that I have, he's the only one that knows because he's the only person I ever dropped my flow state on. But other than that, nobody knows. I have not said anything to anyone, and I'm gonna keep it that way for to protect my mind and my this has become like a sacred sanctuary for me. Hi Pixie, thank you. Thank you for being here. Robert William. Well, I only have one friend, and he's the person that I would always like dump all of my. I don't know how to explain, but there are times, specifically when I'm like in a body of water, I have a connection with water. So there are times that I just go into this flow state and I just start saying all these things and connecting dots, and not about me, but about like his life and what he should be doing and the things that like it's just like this whole expansive consciousness stream just. And I would literally just dump it because I had nowhere else, nowhere, no other outlet to open up and and like say these things. And like it's more like a wisdom knowledge thing. And I can read energy fields and tap into the energy field of like people. So I just receive like information. I don't know how to explain it, but he was the only person that I would be able to talk to and like release that information to. And he no longer was allowed to come to my house about a month ago. And I told like something in me for months had already has been telling me that I need to open up, and then I need to open up, and I need to open up. And this is how I opened up, and I showed up on YouTube, even though I've been wanting to do YouTube for so long, but never had the guts to do it until recently. But um, my friend does see my videos. Yeah, Jay, it is great to have a friend like that, especially because it's so hard to actually make friends. Um, like I said, like the friends that I did have, they all basically dropped off my, I'm gonna call it my field. They just dropped off my field, and I cut a lot of people off too, because when I realized that what people like the people that I was friends with, their beliefs and how narrow-minded and just straight up not in alignment with me, I would just cut them off. Robert Williams, any of your old friends might have seen the videos. I don't know if they have. They have. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I do know because my therapist, obviously she knows. She knows, and my therapist told like one of her that I had started this channel, and that person reached out to me and was like, I was very like grateful because he expressed what so many of you have expressed to me. So um I was also in awe, but like friends, I have not had any friends reach out to me because I mean, we have not spoken in years, and nobody knows I'm doing this other than my friend and my therapist. No, I don't have cats. Jay Nelson says it does take guts. Yeah, it does take guts. Like I'm not, you have to be mentally prepared for what you're going to do. And I am someone who is very aware that for you to do something, you have to prepare yourself mentally first before you can move towards it. And I think all of like many of you have said that the inner work I've been, I've done and my experience has is the reason why it has allowed me to step into this unknown territory of just opening up to the world. Dancer for Life says, can you please say happy birthday to me? Happy birthday, Dancer. Um, Rafterman says, did you write a script for your first video? No, I don't script absolutely anything. I do not have the mind to script. I am the kind of person that I just flow with what comes to me and my raw emotions. I will not script ever. I don't find scripting is not for me. Healing with Mama, hi. You made it to my live. I almost didn't go live, but here I am. Nice to see you here. So, Bob, I have one friend, my parents, and my sister, and my niece. That's about it. Oh, and my dogs, and a parrot. um, but like I was saying, I don't script my videos. I will not pay attention if I script them. You look like my sister's neighborhood from Miami. Not sure, but 5K subs is impressive. To be honest, it is still very surreal for me. Very, very surreal for me. Cloud Kicker, are you moved out of the toxic environment? No, I am still here. Other than inner work, any action plan you're working on? Um, I'm just taking it day by day and see where it takes me from there. I don't have a plan. I'm just following the breadcrumbs, if that makes any sense. If it's a toxic environment, leave. Well, if you have the means to leave. Um, if you don't have the means to leave, like, what are you gonna do? I have 3 dogs. So what? I'm gonna just leave my dogs and leave everything. It doesn't work that way. Yes, Joey, day by day is the way that it works. I am not living off somebody else. I pay my own stuff. Okay, so I do not live off somebody else. I am not going to deal with trolls. Good evening. The breadcrumbs are real when you choose you. Yes, and that is actually the most craziest thing for me is that, yes, when you decide to follow the breadcrumbs, it is leading you somewhere. And that is the most amazing thing that I can say that I am starting to see unfold, how you follow the breadcrumbs. Yeah, the trolls are here. I mean, what are we going to do? JL, I think it's hard for you to find. I think it's hard for people to find your channel unless the algorithm hits them. It would be by chance. Yeah, to be honest, I was so I'm still processing what is happening with my YouTube because of the growth, and not just the growth, but also like I've had two brands reach out to me, and I don't know anything about how YouTube works or brands or anything. Like, I don't know nothing. I never expected for my video to have for what happened with my video happen. Like, so many people related and so many people left comments, and not just comments, but like heartfelt comments, and that just took my YouTube just off a rocket. And I was not expecting that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the day that I posted my first video, I told myself, I'm leaving this up to the universe. I'm not even going to get in my own way. I'm not going to interfere or control. I am going to just leave it. And I did not check my dashboard. I dropped my video on a Thursday. I did not check my dashboard until Saturday, like at 11:30 a.m. So, um, I didn't even get in my own way. I didn't even believe that my video was gonna even like do well. I have no what's going on with this. I don't follow the breadcrumbs. I'm the one laying them out. Well, you could be laying them out, but they also present themselves to you because I am experiencing that. Yes, Caesar, the world does need more light. Yes, JL, so what happens is, because I never expected this, my brain cannot process what's happening. So I'm having moments where it doesn't feel real. Um, it doesn't feel like it's real life. And I still don't know what to do. So I even get scared. I even get scared. I'm gonna sneeze. Hello? That's a poodle and a Yorkie. And I have another Yorkie, but she's with my mom. Yeah, the other thing too that I was saying is, I never expected for people to relate to me the way that so many people related to me. Thank you, soccer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, I never expected for people to relate the way they did. Joy, when I saw first vid, I just sat on the porch and stared at the man's for 20 minutes. I did not imagine my video would have that much of an impact, and it still blows me away. Like, I looked at my analytics probably like earlier this afternoon, and my video is like at 95,000 views. How is that even real? Cheeto is my birthday and my grandma got deported. You have to be kidding me. That is, I I don't understand what's happening in this world. Yeah, JL. Yeah. what kind of career am I planning? I am, like I said, I am not someone who plans. When I was younger, I would plan things and I would be like, okay, I went to school for business. And then I realized I'm not a business person. I don't like business. I'm not a business person. So career wise, like I have been told that I could be a counselor, or that I can be um or that I can even be a therapist. But I am just going to follow wherever this is leading me. So I'm not the kind of person that does plans. I I I let things unfold and I follow it. Like when I feel called to do something, I go and I do that. I did go to college. I went to college for business. Thank you, soccer. Have you thought about doing walk and talks? No, I haven't. And by that you mean like walking and talking? Is it possible that all those hardships condition you to believe that you are not good in business? Actually, no. Um, that my conditioning, like for example, my sister is a very good person when it comes to business, and the way that her train of thought is a lot more. She's more like disciplined with business stuff. I, on the other hand, I'm not. I'm not good at all when it comes to like business. It's just not part of who I am. Yes, Ursa Major says, "Do you ever feel anxious when you create your videos?" Yes, all the time. Like today, I was really anxious, really, really anxious. Joey Laurel said, "Business or sales would be soul sucking for some people." Yes, and I am not a salesperson. Um, I'm not a salesperson. I've worked in sales before. That's it's not part of who I am. It's not for me, and business is not for me either. Is my name Susie or Susan? Actually, my name is Susanna. I just like to be called Susie. Adam says, "Congratulations on the channel." Thank you so much. It is still very surreal for me. I cannot believe this is real life. Um, I never thought that so many people would resonate. It is crazy. And my first video is like at 95,000 views last time I checked, which is crazy. What kind of job? To be honest, I don't. When when 2020 happened, I was working, and most of my jobs have been either in an office, or I worked at a comic book store. I've worked, I've done office things or worked for doctors and stuff like that. And I noticed in 2020 that I'm not built for that. Like, I had to put up with a lot of BS from bosses and stuff. Um, Especially like not my this boss that I had, like my last boss, but the boss before that. It was he was always harassing me, and he would publicly harass me too. Like he would do lives on YouTube, and he would throw me in there, and not that he would put me in the video, but he would talk about me in front of me, and about like how I look. So I've dealt with a lot of harassment when it comes to work specifically, and it's always giving me a hard time. And I know that my plan is to work for myself. I want to be I want to be the one in charge, and not in a business way, but I just want to be the one. I want to be the person who sustains myself. Like I don't want to work for someone. You gave me the Namisha says, Susie, you gave me the courage to do videos. I have a lot to say. I have anxiety about it, but I need to do it. Yeah, let me tell you, anxiety is going to be there at all times. I still have anxiety when I do videos. There are times that I even feel so much anxiety that I don't know if I can walk to the park, but I still do it anyways. You just have to do it. So you just have to do it. And don't overthink it. Think of it as a meditative process where you don't allow yourself to engage with your thoughts. You just go and do it. Show up. Bob Hope, are you single or with someone or looking? I am single and I'm not looking because that is not my priority right now. My priority is me and getting what I need to get to be able to live my life in my own terms. Robert says, so why can you become your own boss in career? Because I need to figure out what is where I'm being led to do. That path is still not clear for me. What's your accent? I'm Cuban American, so I speak Spanish fluently. I was born in New York, so I have like a mix of accents. Oh, trust me. Jai Shri, I don't know how if I said that right. It says just move out of the US, you'll have a better life. Yes, I would love to move out of the US, but right now I can't. Um, but I would love to. Bob Hope, if you find the right person, it could change your life. Yeah, but I'm also not um I don't socialize anywhere, so there is no way for me to meet anybody. Cloud Kicker, how do you pay your bills? Well, I had money saved from when I worked because I would save money, and that's how I've been able to um, keep myself afloat. I would say, um, and also my credit cards. That's why I'm in debt. The U.S. will come around again. Costa Rica. I would love to see Costa Rica one day. I have a cousin that I saw. She went to Costa Rica and it looks beautiful. You're absolutely right, Ursa. A man is not a plan. Absolutely not. Bob Hope, yes. I also do not like credit cards. Do not. Um, Austin says, have you considered Patreon or buy me a coffee kind of thing? Well, I got a suggestion for buy me a coffee when I made my first video. So I do have a buy me a coffee link on my YouTube bio. And I've also gotten quite a good amount of requests for a Patreon. I still don't know yet what I would do on the Patreon, so I'm thinking about that, like I'm brainstorming, but I might do a Patreon. I don't know yet, though. I don't know when. I do not Paisley, I do not vape or smoke. Um, oh, nice. You live in Hawaii. That must be beautiful. That must be beautiful. I love Hawaii. Hawaii looks very beautiful. I've never been, but I've seen videos and stuff. Robert, yes, I do dance. I have not danced in a very long time. The only time I dance is for myself when I'm trying to like feel better. What are your hobbies? Steffi says. Well, one of my favorite things to do is um, to make matcha. That is my moment where I really just have a moment for myself where I'm actually very present. That is one of my favorite things to do. Um, I love going to the ocean. I love going to the ocean, like to the beach. I love the beach. I love riding bike. I love riding bike. I would ride 10 miles a day. I haven't been able to ride within the last like month and a half because we have been having really extreme heat and I don't tolerate the heat, but I love riding bike. How do I make my matcha? I do it the traditional Japanese way. So um, I have like the matcha powder and I whisk it in with water, with like warm water, and I layer it with whatever, if I want a syrup or if I want it just by itself. Um, but I love matcha. And it's because also I am caffeine sensitive, so I can't drink coffee at all. I like coffee makes me really sick. Like I get really bad palpitations and it makes my whole insides feel like they're jumping. And it doesn't last like an hour. It lasts like 8 hours. So I cannot drink coffee. But I can tolerate matcha. Matcha actually even helps me focus better. And it has helped me with my anxiety too. From my experience, I've been drinking matcha for a year and a half now, like making my own matcha. What's your favorite scary movie? I don't like watching scary movies. Um, I don't watch scary movies. I used to. I just don't because I don't like the way they make me feel. So I'd rather not watch them. I have matcha, but it just doesn't give me the alertness that I need in the mornings. Have to have coffee. How many cloud kicker? How many grams of matcha do you have? Because it also depends on how much you're using and the quality. Because there are times that I have had, let's say, 3.5 grams, and it will make me pretty alert, where I almost feel a little bit anxious because the caffeine kicks in. So it depends. No, matcha does not have grittiness. Um, if it's a good quality matcha, it should not have grittiness. Do you do live streams every day? Paisleys ask. No, I don't. I do like once. This is my second live. Oh yeah, no, 1 teaspoon is not enough. My advice to you, Cloud Kicker, is that if you can, if you have like a scale, measure at least 3 grams. So, because 1 teaspoon is not enough caffeine, it's very little, very, very little. What is my favorite book? Um, my favorite book. Well, there are several books that I like, um, but one of my favorite books that I always go back to is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Namisha says, I'm also caffeine sensitive. I drink toasted tea and adaptogen helps with anxiety too. Oh, nice. I've never had toasted tea. Um, but I don't drink coffee. So I, I do drink a lot of tea though. I love drinking tea. Tea is, I mean, I could be an I could have an apothecary because I love tea. But matcha is very good. Like it helps me like focus and it calms my mind and it gives me enough energy to like carry on through the day. So, because there are times that I have like energy crashes and I will like wake up with energy and when I eat, I will feel completely exhausted and I don't even want to move. And the only thing that gives me like this kind of like energy that's kind of like a slow release energy where it gives me the energy to do things is matcha most of the time. I have only tried matcha ice cream made by a Japanese chef, and she told me I would like the texture because it was gritty, but the flavor was nice. Yeah, that's so matcha should not be gritty. Um, but there are different matcha powders. So when it's not like a good quality, you will find it to be gritty and to be bitter, and it will taste a little bit fishy because it's not really good quality. Yes, I wear socks, Harry Barbara. You are absolutely stunning, gorgeous, beautiful queen. I hope your life is filled with happiness and peace and success. Thank you, Big Gravy. So, Bob Hope, for my anxiety, the way that I eat is I will wake up, I feed my dogs, and by 11:30 I am having like my lunch and breakfast. So, um it'll be like the biggest meal of the day, and then I don't drink. I won't eat really anything else until like 7:30 at night, and I'll have like a small dinner. And I don't eat rice or I don't eat like carbs at night. Well, I don't really have sugar on Wayne Gardner. Yeah, I don't really have sugar. Um, I don't really have sugar. But yeah, matcha, there's different strains of matcha. So you have to see like what matcha you're getting. Um, is that I'm not near the ocean. Um, the ocean is very far from me, or like from where I am. And ideally, I don't that's still running a business, and I don't have the mind for running a business. I thought about actually I wanted to do I wanted to have my own matcha cart is what I wanted to do. And it's a reason why I had a credit card. I applied for a credit card to start my own business selling doing like matcha pop-ups, and I ended up not doing it. It was it was just too much for me, and so many steps and so many things that you need and so much paperwork, and it was just too much. My mind is not for that. I just it's too much. Miles Stradamus says, "Hey Susie, you're a blessing, inspiring so many. Have a wonderful night and a amazing Saturday. Thank you for your positive, encouraging words. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Anxiety is from sugar and caffeine. It makes your heart flutter and it sucks. Yes, that's why I don't really have any caffeine that's very heavy because I don't tolerate it. I don't even drink soda. I used to love drinking like a Coca Cola once when I was like, I would say like 10 years ago. And I cut myself off from even drinking soda because it wouldn't make me feel good. Susie, I'm 43. Do you feel like our group age had a weird identity crisis, like we don't belong anywhere? To be honest, I would say yes. I would say yes. Um, I'm not really sure why people our age are having this realization of some sort, but yes. Bye, Paisley. But I think that when we reach a certain age, we really have to question ourselves. And yeah, empaths are sensitive to things, junk food, processed food. So that's another thing that I'm gonna mention here is I used to love like for dinner or when I would go out with my sister like to a restaurant or something, I would always love drinking like a glass of red wine. And I cannot tolerate drinking red wine. Like I cannot tolerate drink alcohol period. My body rejects it. Even if I have a sip, I feel awful afterwards. Like my body does not accept it. So I don't even drink alcohol. That is amazing, Cloud Kicker. I'm so proud of you. What is happening here? What is happening here? Which is the first country you would like to move to if given a chance to? So, I would love to go to Japan, but there's one thing about Japan that scares me, which is earthquakes. No, I don't have diabetes, Bob. Yes, and tsunamis. Like, I would love to live in Japan because I love their simple life and I love their culture. I watch a lot of anime. Like, I think I mentioned in my last video, I watch a lot of anime. So I love their culture and their simplicity. And I would love to live in Japan. I think Japan is beautiful, but the earthquakes scare me. Yes, so Joey, that's another thing about me. I am very aware of solar activity and I am aware of earthquakes. So I get notifications for both because our consciousness is related to the sun. And when there is solar activity, it actually heightens consciousness and it causes a lot of like, even our cells get affected by by the sun. So we're going to be experiencing a lot more earthquakes because the sun, when it faces the earth and it has a corona hole, that hole will kind of like pull energy. And then when it moves out of rotation, it will cause a release on the earth. So when there's an earthquake, that is the earth releasing energy. So there are changes happening on a planetary level, not just us humans are experiencing changes, but the planet itself is also experiencing changes in even its own awareness. Japan, so expensive we are from. Yes, I know. They also work. I know, and I do love though. Like I said, like their culture and people. They're so like kind. Our karma from Mother Earth and the universe isn't good. I just think so. I don't see it as karma. I see it more like, you know, how we wake up to wanting to change our lives and we wake up to this new understanding, a new level of awareness or consciousness. The same thing happens to the planet. The planet is not, the planet is a living being, you know, and it's aware. So it is also in the process of leveling up and it has to release energy. And the sun is connected to that. The sun is, for a reason, ancient history, and like they always regard the sun as like the all being. Like you look at the sun as like father son. So yeah, the sun plays a huge role in our evolution and our consciousness. Being gifted with intuition is a blessing and a curse. It could be. When I was a child, Joey, I had a very hard time navigating that because it felt more like a curse than a blessing. And I shut the door to that when I was 19 years old. So I had a very hard time after that. Do you have an email I just posted on YouTube? Couldn't find it. Too embarrassed to share something interesting with you publicly. It is on my bio because that's how brands find me. If you see my aura and it's purple, then you are seeing my crown. You're seeing my crown chakra energy, which I don't like calling them chakras. I like calling them energy centers. So you're seeing my crown energy center. I'm confused. Are you saying that it's safer where you are than in Japan because of earthquakes? So if you are saying the Japanese cannot sense what you're sensing, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. What I'm saying is, first of all, I live in a state where is there's no earthquakes, but there's hurricanes. And um, what I'm saying is Japan can sense what I'm sensing. Anybody can. I'm not sure what you're trying to get with that. I don't understand what you're saying. And at no point was I saying that Japanese cannot sense. So the topic for today was that my video for tomorrow is going to be, my videos are usually like 25 minutes long, or I try to keep it in that range, but I went a little bit overboard. So it's 30 minutes long. So my update was that my video for tomorrow is going to be dropping at 11 a.m. and it's going to be a little longer. And I was just talking about that, but we ended up talking about other things. So what I was talking about is that the sun is connected to the earth, and that's why there are earthquakes, because of positioning of coronal holes on the sun. When they move out of rotation, they cause earthquakes. And I'm not talking about Japan. I'm just talking about anywhere in anywhere in the globe where there are fault lines. You're going to have energy release. That's what I was referring to. Thank you, Miles. Alien, so are you. I'm not sure what's going on here. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, earthquakes, not Japan. I said that I would love to live in Japan if I had the opportunity, but that earthquakes in Japan scare me. That's what I was saying. But when I was referring to the sun, I'm saying that the sun, when it has a coronal, um, hole and is facing Earth, it actually sucks energy from the Earth. And then when it goes out of rotation from the Earth facing, then you get um, earthquakes. Thank you, user. It's great to see you here too. Have I checked out the Earth Evolution website? To be honest, it sounds very familiar. I'm not really sure, but I am familiar. But like I said, I keep track of the Schumann resonance. I keep track of the solar activity, and I keep track of earthquake activity. Yes, coronal mass ejections. That's what I was talking about, and also solar flares. Shows when the solar flare affects the Earth magnetic field as well as, yes, and especially when there are solar storms and it causes geomagnetic activity, and like in the area where the geomagnetic, like the area where the solar flare actually like hits, it also like affects the Schumann resonance in that area. So all of that plays a role also in human consciousness and in the human body. All of that, because we're all connected. Everything is connected. We're not separate from it. What are we speaking about tonight? We were just talking, well, the point of the live was that my video tomorrow is going to be 30 minutes long instead of um, 25 minutes. And it's about my experience with relationships. So I made this live to talk about the update that I am going to have a longer video tomorrow because I didn't want to do just a short for that. I was like, let's just try going live and just talking about it and seeing how a live works at this time at night. And now we're just talking about other things. I'm 50 and I have been following your journey. You're so beautiful inside and out. I am rooting for you. I relate to everything you talk about. Just know God will bless you abundantly. Thank you so much. Covered for Christ. Thank you so much. I never knew that my story was going to inspire so many people. I honestly never imagined that at all. Like, that really took me by surprise. And I am so grateful that you have received it in the way that is how I really feel because my emotions are very clear in that video. Do you ever want someone in your life or no? I don't know. I am very used to being alone most of the time. How do I access flow state? Do you consciously manifest? So, I have connections with water. So when I'm in a body of water, I enter a flow state. Sometimes what happens is that I feel like my mind becomes like expansive and I just become like a source of like information. And if there's a person there, I am able to even let that person know what they need to do in order to move on in life. It's all this energy thing that happens, and it's conscious expansion, and I just connect with my higher self, and I'm able to really go deep into knowledge. And I have been able to do this for most of my life. And like I said, when I was 19 years old, I saw it as a curse and I closed the door on it very harshly. And here and there, I've had moments where it comes and goes. But ever since I started meditating, it has allowed me to be more open with it. And I am now connecting with myself again. Says, me too. I do a lot of earthing and I have meditated also outside. And it's actually really good to do earthing when there is geomagnetic activity because it you ground yourself to the storm that's happening. So it helps you also when you ground yourself. Yes, I actually have um, felt energy between my palms when I face them together. I have had experiences with high levels of energy that are very, very, very unexplainable. And I also taught myself how to see energy off trees. So I can see energy coming off the trees, and there are times that I can see energy from people. Um, I can see the like the shadow of the energy of people too. But I trained myself to see that. In the end, you said, I'm sorry if I wrote something. I'm not really sure, Dario, what you meant. I do love pink. I love pink. And I also love orange and blue. Thank you, Abeni. So it looks like almost like it's not it's like a almost like a wave, but like a wave. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like a wave, and I can see it from like the trees, and I can see it from people. I've seen it on my dogs. I've even seen it on my hands sometimes. And I did train myself to see that. I don't know if any of you have ever read the book, The Celestine Prophecy. That book taught me a lot about how to see energy, um, the energy waves. So I'm able to see waves of energy. I'm not really good at braiding my hair. My sister sometimes when she used to like live here, she would braid it for me, but I am terrible at braiding hair. Yes, Cesar, a lot of us have very sensitive. Yes, it is possible. You can actually, anything is possible. You just have to train yourself to, you just have to train it. It's a skill that you learn, and anything is possible. No, it's not like when you see heat from a road. No, because there's an actual color to it. It's almost like a mist that you see. Like I see the mist off the trees and I can see it off people. As a matter of fact, I one day went with my sister somewhere and there was a lot of people and I can see everyone's energy field above their head. And everyone had the exact same field, like the exact same opening here. And I was mind blown because I was like, every single person that I saw had that. And it was wild to me because it just makes you realize how we are no different. We're all exactly the same. We all have this field around us and we're all navigating through this field. No, I'm not Australian, but it's almost like a mist that you see. Almost like when it's raining really, really, really hard and there's wind and the wind kind of blows the rain. That's what you kind of see, but I see it like as a light gray movement flow type of thing. Any thoughts about writing a bio? I have thought about that. Not yet fully sure. I'm trying to take things one step at a time. Yes, it's like a mist. Is exactly what I was trying to say. It's like a mist. Good night, Paisley. Thank you for being here and for being a mod. Yes, it's like an aura. I just see it off the trees and I see it off animals. I see it off people. Um, yes, it's called the Celestine Prophecy, and it's such a good book, so good, and it does teach you how to see energy off trees. And I mean, I read this book years ago, and I trained myself to see the energy off the trees. Like I would go and sit in my yard, and I would look towards a tree, and I trained myself to see the tree, like to see the energy from the tree. It honestly, it depends how open you are. I think everything has to, it depends on how open you are to see and to allow. So, and without letting yourself get in the way. Bob Hope, there really is no color that is bad energy. Um, you're going to interpret it the way that you want to and how you view it. Because, for let's say, for example, um, people think that gray energy is bad. But I might look at gray energy and be like, oh, I find the gray energy to be it feels light to me. So color is just, you're just giving meaning to the color. It doesn't really mean that that color represents something. You are the one that gives meaning to what you are seeing. So I don't interpret things by color being negative or not negative. Everything is really neutral. You're the one that gives meaning to it. Can you share how you see the energy of the living things? You just cannot look straight at the thing. Um, you cannot look straight at the thing. you have to kind of look at it from like with a relaxed, like without not straight focus, but like a relaxed state where you kind of let your eyes kind of glance without focus. And when you kind of like just relax into that, you can see the movement of energy and flow. I even see it off cars. Everything has it, like everything, vehicles, animals, people, trees, anything, everything has it. Um, you cannot just look directly at it, because if you look at it, you're not going to see it. You got to train yourself to see from like a peripheral vision where it you see it without looking directly at it. Let me see. Do I enjoy painting or photography or music? You seem very artistic. I am really good at dance. I'm very good at movement. Um, I could have been a dancer if I wanted to. Um, what else? I'm not really good at art. I can't draw for nothing at all. Like I'm not a person who draws. Um, but with music, so this is a crazy story. I always loved piano. Okay, I always loved piano. And when I was a child, like I was probably 7 or 8 years old, I would envision the piano like a keyboard in my brain, and I would play the keyboard in my mind. And one day I got like I won. We went to this, I don't know, some event or something for, I think it was a school, and I won a little keyboard. My number got picked for a keyboard, and I won the keyboard. And I was able to play the songs that I played in my head without ever playing the piano. And when I got the piano, I actually played the songs that I played in my head. So that just teaches you how powerful you really are, that you don't really need the instrument in order to play it. If you can see yourself doing it, you can actually then do it in real life. That to me was like crazy, because I played the piano in my head before I actually played the actual piano. And I was able to play the music that I played in my head. Pretty crazy, but that just shows you the power of your mind. So it's wild. You can rehearse in your brain before even like actually doing it. Open bookish, it does. Was I told too sensitive growing up? Yes, I that has been a story of my life, and not that I was sensitive, but my dad would refer to me as a witch, and he was like, "Oh, you. What do you think you are? Some kind of witch?" And it was always like this belittling and degrading way of seeing me because I was different. Yes, Robert, we are deeply connected to everything, to everything, to everything. There is no separation. We are the ones that have separated ourselves from everything, but we are connected to everything and everyone, within and without. As above, so below. Hi, Guns on Drums. I can't believe I have been live for 74 minutes. That's crazy. Susie, your person has nurtured magic within. I would love if you could make a video to show us how to do it. Your flow state is undeniable. Thank you. Um, thank you. That means a lot to me. Um, and I think the true freedom comes when you are really yourself fully and you allow yourself to just be. Have I seen, have you seen how we can't see the color magenta? Yeah, there are a lot of colors we cannot see. Like even the rainbow has colors we cannot see. Some people are jealous, gifted people. I think your parents were. No, I don't think my parents were ever jealous. My parents just don't understand. There's a difference. My parents don't understand. They come from a background that is very controlled and manipulated, and that is what they played out. They're not jealous of anything. They're just, That's just their conditioning in their system. They don't, I mean, they were very old. They're very old school, and still to this day they are. Their mind is like in a little box. They don't have like an open mind. They're very, 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 very narrow. Miles, have a good night, and thank you for being here. Do I believe in reincarnation? So I do believe that if you come into this world and, for example, the people who are not able to realize that they are in a pattern and that you're able to break the pattern because it's about becoming aware. If you remain unaware and you live life through this unawareness, you're going to come back until you learn to be aware of your patterns. I believe that that is soul growth, and that is what allows us to evolve as a species. So we're going to keep coming back until we're able to break free. Because if we keep ourselves in a box, like I have mentioned this before to my mom, where I told her once, I was like, do you really want to come back to like repeat the same thing again? You know, like why would you just not want to learn it now so you don't have to come back and do it again? And it's just stuff that is not meant for some people to understand yet, and those are the people that are going to need to do it all over again. Anyone else have strange flashbacks of a past? I would say I have had some flashbacks of stuff that I don't know where it came from. I was told that I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think I would just always just try to seek something that I thought was missing, if that makes sense. Yes, it makes total sense. You have had memories of your past life, Donna. I can say that I possibly have had, and they always, to my parents, it was always like my imagination type of thing. Do I work out? I love riding bike. How do I deal with negativity in the society? I don't deal. I don't give my opinion on the negativity. And like, if I just don't, I don't engage, because what I've understood throughout my life is that when you engage in the negativity, you are part of the problem. So, in order for that to be transmuted into what you want to see, you need to kind of not give it attention. And it's very hard not to, especially when you're conditioned to pay attention to the negative stuff. But you have to kind of start to become aware of not giving attention to negative stuff so that new things can happen that are in alignment with you and then collectively. How did I become my I have lived a very difficult emotional life, and that's where my resilience comes from, because I will fall into a dark pit. Let me tell you, I have been in a dark pit so many times in my life, and I crawl out of there. I freaking crawl out of there, and I don't give up. So I have learned to maintain resilience, because even I know that even when I fall in the deepest pit, I come back for me. And here I am. You can't fight a war for peace. Yes, the Celestine Prophecy. That is the book that I read like in 2011, 2010. I read that book. My dogs are right here. Two of my dogs are here. The other one is with my mom. And that's another thing too, that most of us who say things like, oh, I see energy and I see this, or I'm able to like receive information and give information. When I when I was 18 years old, I had an experience with a bird. Okay, I'm not gonna get into detail because it still hurts. Um, but I had an experience with a bird. Okay, and that bird died. Okay, and I was so angry. My rage was so intense, and I was so mad. And I closed the door to the gifts that I had. Okay, and what happened was that when I closed that door, I started to have severe panic attacks. And again, here I ended up going to a psychiatrist again because my panic attacks, I thought that I was literally having a heart attack in the middle of like a mall. And I ran. By then, we had payphones. I was running to a payphone to call 911 because I felt like I was having a heart attack. And it was a panic attack. And I started to have panic attacks all the time after that. And I was suggested to go see a psychiatrist. I saw a psychiatrist and I told the psychiatrist the experience that I had with the bird and the communication that I had and the knowledge that I had. And he straight up told me that I needed to be on medication for the rest of my life to control my panic attacks and because I was chemically imbalanced and that I was going to be chemically imbalanced for the rest of my life. So I needed to be on antidepressants to balance my brain. I remember, and this is like, I remember that they sent me Prozac and I took one Prozac and it gave me the most strangest reaction that it freaked me out so bad that I told myself, I am not drinking this crap. Like, I'm not doing this to myself. After that, one day, I woke up and I told myself, I am not gonna let some doctor say that I'm chemically imbalanced for the rest of my life when he didn't even check, he didn't do anything to me. He just heard me talk. He didn't do any brain scans, he didn't check anything. I was not tested. It was just me talking to the guy. And this guy literally said that I was going to be chemically imbalanced for the rest of my life. And at that moment, I gave my power to him because I believed him. But then I took my power back and I was like, no, you are nobody to tell me that I am chemically imbalanced for the rest of my life. I never took an antidepressant ever. I've never taken one. And I know how my brain works. Like I know me. I cannot let someone from the outside who doesn't know me that just judged me based off something that I told him that made him think that I was crazy. And he just labeled me with a chemical imbalance. I don't give my power away to doctors anymore. Like I don't do that. I do my research before I even see a doctor. And if they're going to tell me something, I school them before. And I let them know, like, I know this and I know this. Like, I got gaslit by a doctor last year where I had severe issues with my stomach. And I went to how do you call that? I went to see a gastroenterologist and they did like blood work on me and all sorts of things. And then they told me, oh, it looks like you have IBS. And she's like, I'm going to give you this medication that you're going to take every morning when you wake up, and it's for your stomach. So make sure you take it. She told me that it was a medication for my stomach, but guess what she was giving me? An antidepressant. And she did not tell me that it was a antidepressant. She told me it was a medicine for my stomach. She was gaslighting me. If I did not know any better, I would have taken that stupid pill thinking that it was going to help my stomach. But since I am someone who researches so much and I know so much, that I told her, I'm like, you're giving me an antidepressant. And she looked at me like completely like, and how did you know that? So like you have to be so well, like you have to know stuff before you deal with doctors because doctors will sell you whatever. Yeah, people will believe and surrender to doctors. And that's why that's the main problem that I think why people give up on life because when they're told that they have something, they automatically like their their selves will believe and surrender to that story that they're being told, and they gave up. So you can't give your power away to someone on the outside. You can't. Yeah, it even happens with dogs, Loretto. It even happens with animals. I've seen it with animals. They actually did that once with my dog, and if it wasn't because just I'm a source of information, I would have believed him. He would have given my dog a medication that would have probably taken her out because he misdiagnosed her. Oh wow, yeah. I had the bird that I had the experience with was an African gray parrot, and that might make a story or a video about that one day. But it's still till today, it is something that still hurts. We are far in between, always great to find. They get us. Yes, you create. So what it says, you create your world with your thoughts. Yeah, you basically do. And I know this because I have been creating my world with my thoughts, believing what I was told as my whole entire life. And that narrative has driven me to live the life that I live because I believed. I gave my power and I believed what I was told about myself. Yep, Christopher is absolutely right. Um, as a matter of fact, I have left. My father had surgery, like I think it was last year, and he didn't want anybody there. But because I'm a better person, me and my mom went. And I remember that the surgeon came out, and I questioned the surgeon of all the things that needed to be questioned because my father had no idea about anything. And even the surgeon was like, wow, you know a lot. He's like, you were asking the right questions. It's like, yeah, because you need to know stuff. You need to know stuff. You can't not just go there blindly and then have these doctors just give you whatever information. And a lot of times they're even inaccurate. So yeah, like you have to have resource and information so you are ready when you're going to face someone that has a degree, because just because they have a degree, it does not mean that they know more than you. Because I have even taught things to my therapist, and I have taught things to doctors that even still then, you know what they tell me? Oh, we don't know anything about whatever you're talking about because, we go by the book. Yeah, a black and white book that's like outdated. You guys don't know nothing about anything new. But then there are other doctors in other parts of the world that are using that research. But here it's like, oh, no, 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 no. What you're talking about does not make any sense. That has not happened yet. We go by the book. Yeah, your book is outdated. Yeah, that's the problem. That doctors will put ideas in your head, and if you surrender to them, you're screwed because you gave your power to them. And he fixed my allergy, but they don't seem to be around anymore. My little girl was best treated for her ADHD by an African. Yes, um, I can totally agree with you that sometimes doctors that are not from like, I would say doctors that are not American or Hispanic, because I have dealt with mostly American and Hispanic doctors, especially the ones that are Hispanic. They are very like, they don't care about, they just don't care. And they will prescribe you whatever they can prescribe you and like send you home with like 10 medications if they need to. Um, but I had to have surgery 4 years ago, which I had to prepare myself mentally for because I that was something that I didn't want to do. But the doctor that I saw first, like the first surgeon, was a girl. That woman treated me like garbage. Okay. And then I knew that that was not the person that I was meant to align with. And I kept searching for the right person, and the right person appeared. And he was not from here. He was not from here. And that surgeon treated me with the most respect that I have ever received from like a doctor. And he basically did everything right by me and respected me. And I am so grateful to him. I am so grateful to him because it was a scary moment in my life. It was a scary moment in my life. And if I had not found him, I don't know what would have happened. Most doctors deal are from India. A lot of doctors from India are actually really good. We are our own best doctors. We are. And we have the information inside us. We have to remember our body is a pharmacy. We create chemicals for everything, like literally everything. We are a pharmacy. We can heal ourselves. We just have to learn how to do that. We're not taught that. We're taught to be dependent on outside sources because it funds the pharmaceuticals. So we have to become aware of who we are. What are your thoughts and feelings of psychotherapy and finding trustworthy therapists? So this is what I'm going to tell you, Loretto, because I have my opinions on psychotherapy. When you see a therapist and they're not a therapist that goes into the root cause of why you are having whatever you're having, could be depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, whatever it is, right? If they don't get to the root cause of why those symptoms that you're having are manifesting, and you have a therapist to just tell you, okay, we're going to go in here and we're going to talk about what happened to you in this time and that time and what happened to you at this age. If all they do is surface the emotions up, but they don't find a way to release them, all they did was bring that back up. And now you're again in that state of anxiety because you're reliving the moment again. If they don't know how to release that energy, you're going to keep that energy with you. And now it's like activating your field all over again. So you're reliving the experience all over again. So you have to be very, very, very like picky with who you choose as a therapist because you want someone that is able to work with your emotions and your and in your character and get to the root cause, and they're able to help you release, not bring it to the surface and leave it there and then medicate you, because that is what they literally do. They will bring it up to the surface and then, oh, you're having a panic attack, oh, don't worry, I got a medication for you. You need to get to the root cause and you need to release it. That's why, in my opinion, meditation does that without you having to relive the moment or relive the story. Because when you're in meditation, you're in a state of whatever, like it's happened to me, and you're in that state, in that void, an emotion comes up and you feel the feeling of it. Sometimes it feels like sadness, sometimes it feels like this heaviness and you don't know what it is and it makes you cry. You don't know what's going on or what memory that is, but that is being released. And the moment you cry and you sit through it, you released it. That is the kind of work that a therapist should be doing in an awakened state, but they don't do that. So doctors are not seeing people as a whole, they're seeing people as a product. And that's not the way things should be. Where we should be able to work in like co-create our reality, where doctors actually work with you to really go in there and help you release whatever is keeping you feeling this way. That's why sometimes you have to go on your own and go within and allow yourself to just flow and allow yourself to just feel your emotions and release them on its own, because you need to realize that you are your own sanctuary. You have all the chemicals and everything you need to heal your body, and you just got to allow yourself to enter that space. Savannah, the Celestine Prophecy was amazing. I second, yes, Celestine Prophecy is so good. So whoever has not read that book, please go get it, because it's a really, really good book. Yes, finding a good doctor is a blessing, for sure. Like, you have to really look for a good doctor. You cannot just trust the first person you see, because most of the time doctors don't care. They don't care. They're getting paid. You're the product. They're doing whatever they need to do, and they're getting paid. Do you think I will have happiness in my life? I believe so. That is what I am aiming for. Hello, Philippines. That's what I'm aiming for. Now, I am aware that there is no such thing as full happiness all your life. You're going to always have challenges, but at least I want to be in a neutral state where I can feel joy and I can feel the sadness or whatever I need to feel and balance myself. I don't want to live in survival. That's what I don't want. I don't want to live in survival. I don't want to live in a paralyzed state. I don't want to live in fight or flight. I want to be in a regulated state where I can deal with both joy and sadness, like my light and my dark. I want to be able to navigate both, not be stuck on just one, which is the one that is causes dysregulation. No, they're not. Hope, Bob Hope, they're not. Actually, they've never been. Sadly, they've never been. Let me see if I missed anything else here. The Power of Now is a good book, even though it's very popular. Yeah, I think I have that book in my audio book. Also, the book that I also recommend is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Do I practice shadow work? The shadow work that I do is, so I think if you don't know how to do shadow work properly and you do shadow work without really knowing, you're going to end up screwing yourself. So the safest route is always going to be meditation. The meditation is your shadow work, because your shadow comes up in meditation, and you get to meet your shadow, and you get to sit through your shadow, and you will be able to transcend. Every time you sit, you go further and further and further. So in order to avoid yourself from doing actual shadow work, where you're writing and you're remembering stuff, you might just bring all this to the surface and then you don't know what to do with it. So when you're meditating, you don't need to know what to do with it. It will just come up and you will face it, and then you transcend it. So, for example, I have had plenty of times that fear, deep fear, shows up, and I freak out in my meditation so bad. And my mind will be like, oh my God, open your eyes, open your eyes. Look, maybe your dog fell off the bed. You need to do this, you need to do that, open your eyes. And I have sat through the turmoil that is going on, a battle in my head, because I'm in so much fear that it wants me to open my eyes so bad. And I will just sit there and I allow myself to go through that turmoil and make it to the other side. That is shadow work. You are facing that shadow aspect of you, and you're allowing it to be there and sitting through it. And that has been the best way for me to do shadow work without me intentionally doing the shadow work. I wish I could sit on a guided meditation with you. I just feel like an annoyed ass when I try to meditate on my own. Please forgive me if you covered this or moved on my screen or just froze. Um, so there is no wrong or right way to meditate, Loretto. There is no wrong or right way. And all you need to do is just pay attention to your breath, and your thoughts are going to come. You're going to get thoughts, and you're going to get these ideas, and you're going to get thoughts from yesterday. You'd be like, oh, because yesterday you did this. You're just going to sit there and just focus on your breathing and observe the thoughts and let them go. Don't engage. The moment you engage, you have to go back into breathing. If you're just able to do that for 5 minutes a day, you will improve every single day, just a little bit, just a little bit. So give yourself 5 minutes a day to do that. And you will see that you can transcend little by little aspects of you, because they will show up. The moment that you are able to sit through the chaos that your mind is, you're able to move into a different state where you're able to sit longer next time with your mind. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to sit with yourself as you through all of your emotions and thoughts. You don't need to turn your mind off, Willie, whatsoever. You just need to become aware of your mind. That's all you're doing. You're not, as long, what you do is that you don't engage. Like, for example, if right now you're meditating and all of a sudden you're in meditation with your eyes closed and you're thinking about what to do tomorrow, or who's texting you or something, instead of you being like, yeah, who is texting me? What happens if my mom's texting me? You're engaging in conversation with your mind. What you do is that you observe the thought, the mind, and you allow it to be there, but you don't engage back. You just observe the thought and let it just move on. And you're gonna keep getting waves of thoughts and inner dialogue that you're just going to observe. You become the observer, is what I'm saying. You're going to just observe. And the more you observe, the more you get to know yourself. I could choose how I wanted to react instead of being controlled by my emotions and thoughts. Yes, you're 1000. You choose how you want to react. The only thing is that when you are conditioned and you are programmed to be reactive, the smallest thing is going to trigger you, and it's so hard to not be, because your body becomes the mind and it becomes the reactive source. You might even feel the reaction in your body before your mind even thinks about reacting. So it is a very hard job to choose and be aware of how you want to react, how you want to feel, and how you want to show up as. Thoughts lead to dictate behaviors. When behaviors are consistent from habits, yes, it does. It becomes part of your personality. Um, it becomes your personality, and the good thing is that you can change up your personality and become who you really are, because the personality is just things that you pick up, that you just put in a little box, and that makes your personality. Are you planning to do live stream meditation? It would be great if you have in your mind. It's difficult to have people, like-minded people, in one place. I would love to do something similar. Um, we're gonna see. I would like to do something similar. Thank you for being here, Bob, and thank you for being. You were here for a very long time. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good night too. But I want to do like a dedicated video to my meditation experience, and I also want to do a dedicated video on the process of meditation, so that people can have like a better idea how to feel comfortable enough to do that and not freak out thinking that they're thoughts and they're not going to be able to do it because, oh, they have too many thoughts, or they're too anxious, or they have ADHD and they can't just sit. You can. Thank you, Wayne. Um, it became a really good conversation. It started off very slow, but it became very good. But yes, I do want to make a video dedicated to what I have learned because I think it would help others. And I think it's a very important part of like learning to work with your shadow and with your the parts of you that are your dark side, because we all have the dark and the light within us, like we navigate both. I have done yoga. I've done yoga and let's see, I've done yoga. I've also done like somatic movements and stuff. But I meditation is to me like what works wonders. Do you believe we choose our parents before we are born? I believe we do choose our parents for a reason, and I think that the reason is to learn how to break free from whatever patterns we have adopted from like past generations. So I do believe that we do choose our parents. Give me a second because my dog needs to go pee pee. This is her time that she pee pees. So I'm gonna put her down so she can pee pee. Let's go, Suli. Okay. So yes, Savannah, just know that meditation is not complicated at all. And it's okay if you move around, or as long as you try every little time, like at least 5 minutes a day, to just sit with yourself and your thoughts and observe your thoughts and not engage. That will cause like a change in your brain. And every time you attempt it, the easier it's going to get. It's a skill. Yeah, they've gone mobile. They went to go pee on their pee pee pad. Let me bring them in because I think she's back. Vamos. Lee, let's go, Lee. Come on. Okay, they're not back yet. Let's see. No, I am not married. Um, I'm not married. I heard we have a soul family. We go through different lives. I think we're all connected on some level, all of us. We all know each other from some timeline. I truly believe that. Hold on. I'm gonna try to bring one of them up because this is her bedtime, so she goes to sleep. What size shoe do I wear? But I really like the idea of sitting with guides in controlled settings. Yeah, that might help you. Hold on. Let me bring her in. Let's go. Hi, Sully. Okay. So they're back. That's my Yorkie. Her name is Sula. She's 14. She's a Yorkie. And that is her pillow. She has like her pillow. I make her like a little bed with her pillow. And that is my poodle. She has a very rigged she has a very rigged haircut because she behaved bad, so I gotta take her to get fixed. They have hair, like 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 her hair is very tangly, but she has like straight hair. Um, but her hair gets very tangled. Yeah, I love pets. I love dogs. I love animals. I love animals like
You have no idea. I let myself be guided by animals all the time. They are the purest source of love that you will ever find. I used to have fishies. I do have a parrot. Christopher, I the Kundalini, to be honest, I don't think that is a negative, um that is your life force. That is your life force. And whenever your body is ready for that and you experience that, it is going to it is very, very intense because it will open up a can of worms, and you have to be prepared to be able to work through the can of worms. But it is not something that you should be afraid of, or something that you should not work with, because it is part of who you are, and it's there for the unraveling. Yes, animals are beautiful creatures. I love my dogs. Plants, if they're happy plants, well, I love plants. I love nature. I love everything. I love everything. And I find so much meaning in in trees and my animals. Like, I love. Weird question, but how do you manage staying so grounded and humble and authentic? I ask because you mentioned people hiring you based on your looks, etc. um the thing is that I've learned to not let, like, I have learned within the last, like, I would say 10 years, I have learned to not let, like, people change me, or situations change me, because I'm already in a situation that I was unaware of, but I'm aware of the situations externally from the outside that are not in the household. So I don't let anyone really, every time that I get disappointed by someone, it just allows me to know that I gotta walk another path. So I don't let that change me. I keep walking my path. Good night, Oz. So you kind of have to, like, keep navigating your path, and how you want, in the direction you want to go, because it is difficult and sometimes it's very hard. Like, I have been felt disconnected from people my entire life, and it's because of, I have been so used to being a loner that I'm able to maintain myself as me because this is who I've always been. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I've just learned to just, this is how I am. This is who I am. What part of the country are you from? Midwest. I was born in New York, and I am Cuban American. Hello to Serbia, Fearless Truth. I barely have water. I have to go get water in the refrigerator now because I'm running out of water. And I can't believe we've been live for this long. So I'm gonna take any last few questions before I go to sleep. Um, I was gonna go live for just a little while, and I can't believe it's been 115 minutes. So if you have any last questions you want me to answer from my perspective or opinion, let me know. Yeah, exactly. Once you start knowing who you are, you kind of start just moving in that direction. And to be honest, there's a point in your life where you cannot be confined and not be yourself. You have to be yourself. And who cares what anybody thinks about you? Like, it doesn't matter, because nobody's living your life, and nobody is going to come and change it. So you have to live in your truth, and you have to show up as you. There is no reason why you should pretend to be somebody you're not. And if you don't know who you are, because I know people don't know who they are, many people are lost, like I was lost. Like, I knew who I was here and there, but when I would fall into a pit, I was completely lost. Was numb. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what was my point. I even questioned, why was I even here? Like, I questioned my existence. So we all get lost. But once you know yourself, or you find pieces of yourself, start embodying who you are and start showing up as who you are. And that will open doorways. It will open little windows, and follow that flow. How do I feel about the current president, war in Iran? Let's just say that I don't I feel all of this is just ridiculous. And I don't even understand why this is happening. But what I've learned from looking at patterns is that we have collectively chosen this. We have collectively chosen what's happening. And it's not that we chose this collectively now. No, we've been choosing this for years and years upon years. And this is the outcome of what we have chosen, of our beliefs and our separation, because we have separated ourselves from people, and our own hate collectively. Everything we've chosen has led to this point right now. And we are seeing what we collectively created and allowed. And I think that, in a way, this is showing us what we don't want to see happening or experiencing. We are seeing the contrast now, because now we're looking at that and we're like, this is all sorts of wrong. How is that even right? And we need to change that. And I think that this is happening so we can wake up and we can realize that we can change the trajectory of stuff, because this is like history repeating itself all over again. Now, how evolved are we to dismantle this whole thing and start a brand new way of being and electing people and choosing the things that stand for the good of all people, not just selected people? Yeah, the thing is that when the reason why there's war is because it will keep people in fear. And if you keep people in fear, you have complete control over the narrative of everything. And when you're at war, you're not just scaring the people that you're at war with, you're scaring everybody else. And it's very easy to manipulate people that are in fear into believing whatever narrative they want. So the war is always about power, and about, even in a sense, is almost like colonizing, because they want to just vanish certain races and countries. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And what is this trying to show us? And that's the question. Why is this happening? And what is this trying to show us? And what direction should we move towards? Because we all deserve to live a life that is free and to live a life according to our own sovereignty. We can't depend on some system to control us, you know? So this is showing us what we don't want. And I'm hoping that people move in the direction where they empower themselves and the system will have to collapse. No, not all people are afraid. And I would think that now there are more people that are less afraid, but the narrative is always fear. I mean, you put on a TV and you don't hear anything good. All you hear is fear mongering BS. And that is a narrative that they're running the show with. And it's always been a fear based narrative. And if it's not a new virus, it's a new, it's always something new. And it's always to keep this control and keep people in the hamster wheel. It's exhausting. Thank you, Nanisha. Yeah, if enough people start to realize and wake up, we can change this whole thing around. And I think the reason why things are so freaking wild right now is because they're losing control. And because they're losing control, they're doing the craziest things because they think they can get away with it because they're losing power. They're losing the control. So things are going to get probably even worse because they're at the brink of collapse. So now it's like, what direction do we take? Where do we want to go? And what kind of world do we want to create? Because, yeah, we are creating a world for the future generation. And what do we want them to, what world do we want them to have? You're welcome. But yes, the collective is waking up. And I think that is why we're seeing what we're seeing. And there's a huge separation right now. There's a huge division, literally, the straight up division. Let's see. Yeah, it's about coming together. It's about us collectively coming together, and it all it takes is for one person to have a different way of thinking and a different vision and sharing that vision, and then that other person might get inspired by that vision, and then it just creates like a ripple, and then it collectively, because we're all in a web, and it will just move through the web, and collectively we will move a different direction. It's like birds, the flock of birds, how they move all together in a pattern. It's the same thing. We just need to have enough of us to create that ripple that will get us swaying to the way that we need to go. I wonder if we're warriors for a time like this to bring the change. I believe we are. I believe that we are the ones that we have been waiting for. We just never knew that it was us. I think it's always been us. Yeah, not anybody I am tired to. Trust me. And to be honest, 2020 really, 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 really got me. That was something else that really affected me, was like, I couldn't believe the crap that was happening. It was exhausting. What do I have? I don't really have any plans. I don't do much. I don't do much. I usually take care of my niece on Saturdays, but my sister is very sick, and my niece was very sick, and my sister just recently got sick from taking care of my niece. My niece was very sick, so I'm not gonna be going to her house tomorrow. She's not going to be going to work, so I don't have to go. And I don't know what my plan is for tomorrow, to be honest. And the weather here has been crazy. It's been like mini hurricanes. Like, I almost didn't film today because I usually film earlier. Like, I usually go film by like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But today I was like, you know what? I'll go a little later.
When I decided that I was going to go, this huge lightning came from nowhere and it became a mini hurricane that lasted like 3 hours. And I almost was not able to film because the actual storm ended by like 6 o'clock almost. So, no, I haven't watched The Odyssey, but I would like to watch it. So, yeah, I almost didn't even film today. I was like concerned because I was like, I don't want to film tomorrow morning and I don't want to edit and do everything in a rush. So, I'm kind of glad that I was able to go anyways, even though it was late. How dysregulated I am and why it was a learning experience. Yeah, it was 2020. It was a learning experience. It was a learning experience. It was integrated and it's still being integrated. The experience that I learned from that timeline, because I feel like something happened in 2020 and we just jumped to some crazy timeline. Crazy, 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 crazy. Okay, so I am going to be ending my live because it's like 12:40 in the morning. I'm usually sleeping at this time. Um, yeah, it is a silver lining. It is a silver lining. I believe a lot of people, I've never seen so many people so aware, right? Like in my lifetime, I have never seen so many people aware and so many people actually talking my language. So that's a good thing. So, yes, I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. My video is about my experience with relationships and how I am able now to tell like the red flags and what I experienced in relationships, being conditioned to be the way that I was in the little box. So, tomorrow at 11, the video, like I said, is going to be 30 minutes long. I went a little overboard, but the video is like 30 minutes long. So, I hope you guys let me know your thoughts on the video if you watch it, because I want to see what type of relationships you guys have had and if you can understand what I mean by my like from my experience. And yeah, that's a I think the lockdown was a big mistake for them. They just never knew that it was going to be a big mistake. Moon shaped I have it's beyond Susie, but I don't really post on there. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. I appreciate it. I I never imagined that me just talking would inspire so many people with my own perspective and my own experience. It's the most surreal thing I've ever, besides my meditation experience, I've ever experienced before. But I want to say that I really, 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 really appreciate every single one of you. You guys are literally like the family that I don't have. You guys are so supportive and so you understand and you see me, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I realize that your family doesn't have to be really your bloodline. Your family can just be people, and we're all the same, you know? And I'm actually grateful to realize that. And I'm just grateful that I had the guts to show up. So, thank you, Moon Shaped. That is, again, it leaves me speechless because I never knew that my voice had this ability to inspire people. It gets me emotional because I never imagined that. Thank you, Christina. So much love for you too. And thank you so much for being here. Oh my god, I used to have an iguana, by the way, that I used to feed and I used to take care of when I was younger. And yes, Pixie, shine your light. And I tell everyone to please shine your light. Don't be afraid. The world needs your light more than anything. It needs your authenticity more than anything. It needs you as you more than anything. And don't allow yourself to be swayed by outside external noise. Um, we need to be rooted in who we are. That is our power. Am I a hippie? No, I'm Susie. If this is what you consider a hippie, well, okay. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everyone, so much. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. with my new video. And I appreciate every single one of you. Um, we'll talk tomorrow. Maybe I go live on Sunday. I don't know yet, but we'll see. I'll see how it goes. And thank you all for being here today. It was a very long live. I didn't think it was going to turn out this long, but here we are. Thank you for your insights and for your perspectives and for sharing moments of your life with me. I will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good night or a good morning, wherever you may be. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow and enjoy your weekend. Bye.